Pirates attack French warship twice. October 2009. April 2010. The year was 2009. Off the coast of Somalia, piracy had evolved into a full-blown criminal enterprise. Armed men in fast skiffs roamed the seas, hijacking cargo ships, tankers, and even luxury yachts. They were bold, ruthless, and dangerous. But in October of that year, one pirate crew made a mistake so reckless, so unthinkable, that it would go down in history as one of the most bizarre encounters in modern naval warfare. They tried to attack a French warship. Between 2008 and 2012, piracy off the coast of Somalia reached levels the world hadn't seen in modern history. Dozens of vessels, tankers, container ships, fishing trawlers were hijacked every year. Ransom demands skyrocketed into the millions of dollars, and the Gulf of Aden became one of the most dangerous shipping routes in the world. But in this chaos, there's one story that stands out: pirates who made the mistake of targeting not once, but twice, the French Navy itself. Here you will watch how Somali pirates attacked a French warship in October 2009, and then came back again in April 2010. A tale of boldness, firepower, and a reminder that sometimes the hunters become the hunted. The stage of piracy. 2009 Somalia. By 2009, Somali piracy was no small-time operation. With their government collapse and lawlessness ruling coastal towns like Isle and Harardir, pirates armed themselves with AK-47s, RPG-7 rocket launchers, and PKM machine guns. They traveled in fast fiberglass skiffs, powered by 150 to 200 horsepower Yamaha outboard engines, and hunted vessels hundreds of miles offshore. That year alone, the International Maritime Bureau, IMB, reported over 200 pirate attacks in the Gulf of Aden and Indian Ocean. Of those, 47 ships were hijacked and more than 800 crew members were taken hostage. Ransoms ranged from $500,000 to $5 million per vessel, depending on the cargo and flag. The French Navy, along with NATO and EU task forces, had been patrolling the waters under missions like Operation Atalanta and Operation Ocean Shield. French warships like the FS Nivas, a Florel-class frigate armed with Exocet anti-ship missiles and a 100mm naval gun, were tasked with intercepting pirates, escorting cargo ships, and rescuing hostages. But in October 2009, pirates made a grave mistake. France 24 and Al Jazeera reported additional prior French naval operations, like foiling pirate attacks on cargo ships and capturing suspects as part of the EU-led anti-piracy mission, Operation Atalanta. The trash talk at sea. When the pirate skiff sped toward FS Nivas, the French crew couldn't believe what they were seeing. According to naval logs, the pirates fired warning shots from their AK-47s, completely unaware they were up against a heavily armed frigate. What followed was less of a battle and more of a comedy sketch. French sailors reportedly joked over the radio. Do they know who they're messing with? Or did they skip class at pirate school today? That's not a cargo ship, boys. That's a floating fortress. We're about to see the shortest hijacking attempt in history. One officer was even said to have muttered, "They came looking for treasure and found a warship with missiles." Within minutes, the FS Nivas returned fire with warning shots of its own and launched its helicopter. The pirates panicked, tossed their weapons overboard, and tried to flee, but it was too late. The French Navy boarded, seized the skiff, and captured the entire crew without losing a single man. As one French sailor later joked to the press, they thought they were hunting tuna. Instead, they hooked a shark. The first attack, October 2009. It was October 2009, off the coast of the Seychelles, when a group of Somali pirates spotted what they believed was a merchant vessel. From a distance, the silhouette looked like a large cargo ship, slow, heavy, and a perfect target. The pirates, numbering around 12 men, split between two fast skiffs. They were armed with AK-47 assault rifles and at least one RPG launcher. As they accelerated towards their target, the crew began to fire bursts into the air and across the water, intimidation tactics that had worked countless times before. News report: in a daring attack off the coast of the Seychelles, Somali pirates opened fire on what they believed to be a merchant vessel. But the ship was, in fact, a French naval frigate. The pirates had no idea they were bearing down on FS Nivas, a Florel-class French warship, built not for carrying goods, but for warfare. On board were 160 trained sailors, a helicopter detachment, and a full suite of weapon systems capable of destroying pirate skiffs in seconds. The frigate wasn't just any ship. It was part of the European Union's Operation Atalanta, a multinational mission tasked with patrolling the Indian Ocean and protecting shipping from the very threat these pirates represented. Fire meets fire. As the pirates closed in, the Nivas raised the alarm. The frigate's 20mm automatic cannons swiveled toward the approaching skiffs. A helicopter, an AS 565 Panther, armed with 7.62mm machine guns, lifted off from the deck. Within seconds, the pirates realized their mistake. The merchant ship was bristling with radar domes, missile launchers, and a helicopter circling overhead. But it was too late. The French opened fire, not to kill, but to disable. Narrator, intense tone. A controlled burst of 20mm shells struck dangerously close to the skiffs, shredding the waves. The helicopter strafed warning shots, and within minutes, the pirates were surrounded, their engines destroyed. The French Navy captured 5 pirates alive. On board, they found AK-47 rifles, ammunition crates, and RPG rounds. CNN reported that 2 pirate assault boats approached the Nivas at high speed, mistaking her for a civilian vessel. A French naval helicopter intervened, firing warning shots. The 11 pirates, carrying AK-47s and RPGs, were detained aboard the Nivas. The aftermath of October 2009. The captured pirates were later transferred to French authorities. In court, it came out that these men were part of a larger network based in northern Somalia, working under pirate bosses who financed raids in exchange for a cut of ransom money. At the time, the average Somali pirate could expect a salary of $10,000 to $20,000 per successful hijacking. A fortune compared to Somalia's average annual income of $600. The bosses, however, often pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars from each ransom. But despite the arrests, pirate activity did not slow. In fact, just 6 months later, pirates would return, again making the mistake of targeting the French. The second attack, April 2010. In April 2010, off the coast of Kenya and deep into the Indian Ocean, another group of Somali pirates launched an attack. This time, they were bolder, using a mothership, a captured fishing vessel that allowed them to operate over 600 nautical miles offshore. They deployed 2 skiffs, each carrying 6 to 7 heavily armed men. This wasn't a ragtag group. These men carried multiple RPG-7 rocket launchers, PKM belt-fed machine guns, and dozens of AK-47s. They had boarded and successfully hijacked other vessels before. Confidence was high. Their target? Again, what looked like a slow-moving merchant vessel. But once again, fate and bad intelligence led them straight into the path of the FS Nivas. The battle in April 2010. As the pirates sped toward the frigate, they opened fire with bursts of 7.62mm rounds. One RPG was even fired, though it splashed harmlessly into the sea short of the hull. The French response was immediate and overwhelming. The 100mm naval gun of the Nivas thundered, sending explosive shells into the water near the skiffs. The blast waves capsized one boat instantly, throwing pirates into the sea. The second skiff tried to flee but was chased down by the Panther helicopter, which shredded its engine with precise bursts. Within 20 minutes, the firefight was over. 35 pirates were captured, one of the largest single arrests in the history of the anti-piracy campaign. Their weapons, over a dozen AK-47s, 4 RPG-7 launchers, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and even hand grenades, were seized and displayed by the French Navy. According to EU-NAFOR official report, EU-NAFOR News Archive, on 29 April 2010, Nivas intercepted a mothership and 2 skiffs, approximately 480 nautical miles off Somalia. The vessels were found to be pirate platforms. 11 men were detained aboard Nivas, and the mothership was destroyed. Funny or trash talk section. On the bridge of Nivas, the adrenaline was high, but the mood was unmistakably cocky. Sailors swacked barbs as the pirates' skiffs spun out and capsized. French gunner, laughing over comms. Nice try, amateurs. That wasn't even close. You're throwing fireworks at a battleship. Helicopter pilot after disabling the second skiff. Engine shredded. Somebody tell them their warranties expired. One officer watching the RPG splash into the ocean. Did they just try to baptize the sea? Mon Dieu, that's adorable. As pirates were hauled aboard, a sailor muttered, "Welcome to the French Navy cruise line. No refunds, and the buffet is closed." Global reaction. News report insert. In one of the most significant anti-piracy operations to date, French naval forces capture over 30 suspected pirates after they attempted to attack a warship in the Indian Ocean. The incident made headlines across Europe and Africa. Military analysts pointed out the irony: pirates attacking the same warship twice within 6 months. Some saw it as recklessness born of desperation. Others believed pirate networks were becoming so overconfident after successful ransom payouts that they underestimated military patrols. By 2010, Somali pirates were believed to be holding over 700 hostages from different nationalities, demanding a combined ransom of more than $150 million. The two attacks on the Nivas highlighted a crucial fact. While pirates were dangerous, they were not invincible. Merchant ships had been easy prey because they lacked weapons. But warships were a different game. The French Navy used these victories as propaganda, showing that Europe would not back down. For the pirates, however, the economics of hijacking were still irresistible. A single ransom could change lives in Somalia. The risk of facing a warship was outweighed by the lure of millions. It wasn't until 2012, when combined naval patrols, armed security teams on merchant vessels, and better defensive tactics became widespread, that piracy in the Indian Ocean began to decline sharply. The legacy of the Nivas battles. The October 2009 and April 2010 attacks remain among the most infamous pirate blunders in history. Twice, Somali pirates mistook a French warship for a merchant ship. Twice, they ended up in handcuffs instead of with millions in ransom. For the French Navy, these battles were proof of readiness and deterrence. For the pirates, they were humiliating defeats. And for the world, they were stark reminders of how lawlessness on land can spill into chaos at sea. The ocean hides many stories, some of greed, some of bravery, and some of sheer recklessness. The pirates who attacked the FS Nivas in 2009 and 2010 learned a brutal truth. When you bring AK-47s and RPGs against missiles, cannons, and helicopters, there's only one way it ends. This was the story of pirates attack French warship twice, October 2009, April 2010. If you enjoyed this most unbelievable piracy video of the 21st century, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next tale of history, conflict, and survival, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think these pirate attacks were sheer recklessness, or a sign of just how desperate life can get on the edge of survival? Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and remember, the oceans are full of stories, and not all of them end the way you expect.